So one of the things that I come across a lot when working with people and we're working on their vision is just that we allow fear to take control. So we spend all this time thinking and dreaming and creating a great big vision and something that we are excited to step into that brings out the passion inside of us. I always find that once we get our vision created, we find a different lane. Life is exciting. Life is pulling us along. We're stepping into this vision. We're allowing it to pull us through, and it just feels really exciting. It feels like we're aligned. It feels like we're on the right path. We're on the right track. And it's exciting. And then after some time, after we've been going along for a bit, things start to change. It starts to get scary. We're maybe being asked to step out of our comfort zone a little bit and step into that new future life and that new future version of ourselves. And that's what it's all about. It's about seeing a different version of ourselves. It's about seeing a different version for our lives. So as we step into that, it's going to be scary. We're going to be challenged. We're going to have to pull the courage out from inside of us and really start to step forward into something that we're passionate about. And you know what? We have a choice in that. We can decide that we're going to go for this. I'm going to be strong. I can do this. And we can really get motivated to step into it. Or we could choose to stay the same, right? We're in a life where we're safe, we're comfortable. Nobody asks too much of us. But if it gets to a point when we just want to be experiencing more, right? So we create something new. We create something that's exciting for us, and we want to start stepping into that. So once we come up against those obstacles, we have that choice, right? We can either step into it, or we can allow things to stay the same. And I always feel like at every stage of growth, of transformation, every stage of our vision, we have to get brave and we have to step out of our comfort zone. And before we know it, then we're comfortable again. And then we come up with another challenge that we can step into and grow. And that's what growth is all about. It's exciting, it's scary, it's new, but it really helps us grow and transform and really start stepping into this new version of ourselves. And that's life, right? So we can choose to have life the same as it's always been, or we can choose to do things differently. And in different, it brings new experiences, it brings new people, new relationships, new growth, things that we could never, ever imagine happening in our life happen when we start stepping into our vision. So often we know what we want. We kind of know how we're going to get there, and we know those first small steps in going forward, but a lot of it we don't know how it's going to happen. And often when we dream about things and we have things in our vision, it ends up to be so different and it shows up so differently, but it's 10 times better than we could ever have imagined. So the opportunities for growth and for expansion are so much deeper and richer than we ever could have imagined. And that is the fun part. And when we start to experience that momentum, it just gets us to dig deep and ask for more. And that's okay. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is just the fear aspect of stepping into our vision. So I've shared that the smaller the steps that we take in the beginning, the smaller those goals are. Big vision, small goals. The smaller those goals are, especially right at the beginning of maybe the new vision or even a new stage in our vision, those small steps are so, so important because, and not that they're even easy, but it's just one manageable task, right? If we can just do one thing, leads to a lot of consistency in what we want to be achieving. So if we're trying to go in great big leaps and bounds, it's uncomfortable. We're not feeling right. We're not aligned in what we should be doing. So the smaller we make those goals, the easier it is. And so when we think about those obstacles and we think about the things that come up for us, a lot of it is fear. And actually, I think most of it is fear. It's all fear, those obstacles, right? It's something that keeps us from stepping forward. It's the fear. It's those fear of change. It's the fear of taking a risk. It's the fear of having people laugh at us and rejecting us. It's a fear of, I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? There's so many fears that show up as we start along this journey. The fear of commitment, like I'm going to have to do this, right? And keep committing to it and stepping forward into it. That's another fear. So I think a lot of it is just those fears. And I always give this analogy of fear is actually a door, and fear closes that door to our future. It closes the door to our creative mind. It closes the door to our courage, right? And it just shuts us down, and we do not know what to do about it. But if we can just sit back and objectively look at everything, okay, this is happening, this is an obstacle, this is something that I just have to kind of decipher and look at and determine which way is going to be the best way of going forward. And if we can just open that door just a little bit and look at what's on the other side. And then it's like that fear lifts and the door opens even wider and much easier when we can kind of see what's on the other side and how we're allowing that fear to stop us, and how what we see on the other side of that door is 10 times better than the fear that we're feeling inside of us. So if we can just play with that a little bit and just allow yourself to sit in that fear, we can kind of decipher it and just allow it to move through. And then it's like, okay, I can do this, right? I can see that fear and how it's showing up. I can see what I want and where I'm going and what that's going to feel like. And that far outweighs the fear that I'm experiencing right now, because that fear is going to go away, right? It'll show up in a different form along our path. But if we can just look at it that way, and I think so often, and I know this for me for sure, when I'm not sure about the future and what I should be doing or where I should be going, often I'll just sit, right? Because that's just a fear that's showing up. But often I know when that door is closed, I cannot see on the other side. So I really have to get to a point where I can open the door. And it's just a case of we just need to start thinking really, really big, right? Often the answer is just right in front of us. I just can't see it because that door isn't open far enough. So if we can just work through those fears and get into a place, and it comes from our creative mind, it comes from those messages. Often it comes from God or universe or whatever you feel. But often we hear those messages when the door is open and we can see the path. And that is from our creative mind when we start thinking about some of the ways that we can achieve what we want to be achieving. And we can look on the other side of that door with curiosity and just be curious about, what's over there that I can do? Who's over there that I can help? And how can I get over there to help them? And what avenue is that? What path do I need to go down? How can I find that? And so sometimes we just have to be open to look at our situation and see exactly what it is that we want to be doing. Open that door, keep it open as much as you can. And that comes just from awareness inside of us in what we really want to be doing and experiencing. So hopefully that's helpful in just knowing that we can just feel this fear and walk through that open door. Try and keep that door open as long as you can. And there's so much greatness on the other side. So create that vision, keep working on it, because like I say, it's always evolving. It's getting richer, it's getting deeper, and it's creating more meaningful experiences that we need to be pursuing to fulfill our purpose here in this world.